That's sports. You want to know?
There's sports.
You want to know the stats?
The
stats is we smoked us a laundry head. Are you ready? Are you fucking ready, guy?
Am I ready? I'm not really ready. Not really ready.
You're not really ready?
Not really ready. I'm exhausted. I got up too early today, hustling all day to try to get some paper right, and now I'm exhausted. I am just burned out for the day. Exhaustion.
Fatigue.
I'm gonna sleep well tonight too. I'm telling you, I'm gonna sleep like a rock tonight.
If I say you're fatigued, does that mean you're camouflaged?
You're an idiot. Moron. Welcome to the show, people. SB in the city. I'm your host, the Big Soul. With me as always, Chris Busy B. And yeah, I got it clarified today. The law was passed today. There is no smoking in the parks and on the beaches.
What?
Unbelievable.
Is it?
Unbelievable.
Is it believable or unbelievable?
Now, this raises a whole bunch of questions. One, I think I said it on the last show. Will you be able to smoke in the barbecue section?
Of the beach?
Of the beach. Where you barbecue at the beach, will you be able to smoke? Because, I mean, how are they really going to stop you? Let's be honest for a second. Number one, the cops are not going to bother you. It's not the cops' job. It is the Parks Department. They're going to come bust balls for all that stuff. Okay?
They said that already. They're not going to just be writing tickets right away. They're going to be telling people that they shouldn't be smoking.
Of course.
And giving out warnings.
Of course. But I was walking around today thinking about stuff while I was doing my thing. I ran into a friend of mine. Oh, an associate of mine. I don't want to call him a friend, but he's an associate, somebody I see all the time. And we got into the conversation of the smoking in the beaches and the smoking in the parks. He had mentioned, and it's a little weird to me. Somehow we got into the conversation of marijuana. That 13 states in our beautiful country have now legalized marijuana for the purposes of medical use. 13 of our states. Now, a lot like prohibition, it's based on the idea of 50% of the population of whatever state it's in. If they want it there, it'll be in motion to be passed as a law. Now, if I understand correctly from what I gathered out of the conversation, what they're doing now is not necessarily trying to stop you from smoking in the parks or in the beaches, but through rumor and hearsay, what they're doing is in about a 10-year span, they're getting ready to legalize marijuana in New York. By putting these laws into place now, it's going to stop people from being too comfortable when the laws pass
to smoke reefer in public.
To smoke wherever the fuck you want to.
That would make some sense. It's a very sneaky way to keep locking people up without telling them, hey, we're going to make it free for all soon.
It's a very weird situation. Is it really a thing of smoking, or is there a future plan that people aren't letting you know about? Or because, I mean, how much more money are they really going to spend arresting people for smoking in the parks? Now, granted, for the next 6 months, maybe even to a year, they're not going to arrest you. They're not even going to give you a ticket. They're going to say, listen, you can't smoke, new law. Oh, okay, I can't smoke. You can smoke over here, you can smoke over there, but you can't smoke. After that, people will be getting in trouble. Now, that's a lot of waste of taxpayer money to stop cigarette smoking outside in a public park, you're going to spend thousands. You're going to waste the court's time. You're going to waste the cops' time. You're going to waste a lot of things.
That's the problem with the whole system in general, though. Also.
That very much so.
Locking
Very
people
much
up
so.
for stuff that's not even worth it, and the system spending more money locking people up for junk and nothing than it's actually worth the arrest.
Well, because what they're trying to do is justify their job. And that's the only way they can do it, by hanging somebody that isn't necessarily the worst guy, but they got to show that their job is worth something, so they got to crack down on somebody. And they're going to take the least resisted route. And usually that's people like me and you and our listeners that get caught up in the middle of all this nonsense. You get caught up in a sweep. You get caught up in some ridiculousness that probably has nothing to do with you. But they are going to try to milk that for everything it is worth.
Yeah, because it costs money to do that, too.
I have watched so many shows of people
try to bury you
that are illegally arrested, that are thrown through the system. And I'm not talking about dudes that I know that are innocent and they get thrown in the system. I'm talking about people in specific. There's a story I know about a guy that was in a wheelchair, and he had multiple problems. He had all kinds of diseases, whatever the case is. He had a wife, a couple of kids, and he was just slowly dying. His body was just deteriorating. The doctors had given him prescriptions to make him better, or to not make him better, but to fight the pain of the diseases that he was going through. The catch-22 of that was, he had so many prescriptions and he had so many pills that it put a red flag up with ATF. ATF started watching his house and eventually arrested him for intent to sell, which it was no intent to sell. He just had so many pills that it's hard for the average person to understand why a person would need that many drugs. And you can never understand that unless you're put in that situation. But besides that, the DA knew what it was all about, but he needed the conviction. He didn't care that the guy was sick. He didn't care about all the specifics. What he cared about is he set forth a plan that, right or wrong, he has to follow through with now. This guy ended up doing 2 years for prescription drugs that he was given for his sickness. They eventually released him and got rid of all the charges.
Did he sue him?
Of course. Of course he sued.
Well, that's the problem with too, because a lot of people nowadays are getting stopped and arrested for things that are so small and minor that goes on their records, and possibly they lose jobs because of, or whatever situations may be, or decredibilities their integrity, and they could actually turn around and sue the city for these things, or whoever, you know. And it's like, if you get arrested, for example, trespassing, the reason why Bloomberg told everybody to stop doing that, stop arresting guys for trespassing in like the neighborhoods of New York, like you know, like the projects, or like in certain small
just
areas,
low income areas,
brownstone areas,
low
and
income
stuff like
areas,
that,
yeah.
you know, like where there's a lot of city buildings. They told them to stop arresting people for trespassing, because most of those people that they were arresting for trespassing turn around and sued the city for it, and were in the dead right to be there.
Yeah, and they were arresting people that lived in the building. I think
they were using that trespassing excuse too much as a fishing tool to
Of
try
course,
to dig
absolutely.
through people's pockets.
Absolutely.
And then when they wound up messing with these people felt violated and got mouthy, and then they wind up, you know, arresting them for maybe disorderly conduct on top of that too. But it all escalates too, because it's like entrapment.
And the worst part about it is, when it's all said and done, the cop doesn't pay. He doesn't pay. Not with his job, not with his income, not with anything. The people end up paying, the taxpayers end up paying, taking more money out of the system for a person with a badge that has no control over themselves or the situation that they put themselves in, as far as that goes. I know a lot of people that got arrested going to their own house, in their own building. The cops are waiting in the hallways for people. That is
That's entrapment.
nonsense.
We'll just sit here and wait for whoever walks through the door, and we'll stop them and say, what are you doing here? And when they got no ID on them, we'll process them. Or
Right.
if they have ID on them, but their story doesn't stick, they should be walking through this hallway at this time, we'll go grab them up. And, oh, he just came from the store. I don't see a bag. Well, you went to the store for a pack of gum. You're lying. I'm locking you up.
It's ridiculous.
What?
It's ridiculous.
Like, who are you to say they went to the store or not? What if they wanted to take a walk for some fresh air?
And don't sell me you're doing it for the betterment of the neighborhood. Don't sell that to me, because it's the neighborhood that you are harassing. It's the neighborhood that you're arresting. It's the neighborhood that you're shitting all over every time you do something like that. So to tell me it's for the better of a neighborhood, that's why there's so many cops.
Contradiction.
Bullshit.
That's why I say a lot of officers are, some of them, a handful of really good, down-to-earth, focused, and conscious people, and then the other half are kind of like really just brainwashed.
See, you've already given it too many numbers. You said it right. A handful of them are good, and that's a handful in a lot. Most of them are scumbags.
Well, because they're brainwashed. It's not even that they necessarily know what they're doing, I would say. I would say some of them are so following the book to the point where it's a form of being brainwashed, where they don't know the difference between a high and low extreme.
Right. There was a time when you would have a beat cop. We don't have beat cops anymore. There was a time when there was a beat cop. There was one specific cop that the whole neighborhood knew. And they didn't know him for being an asshole. They knew him for being justice in the neighborhood. That means you didn't necessarily get arrested for fucking up. You might have made a mistake. You might have, and now he has to check you, but you get to go home. He was the eye in the neighborhood to make sure that the real criminal didn't get away with murder, and the neighborhood, the people that were the neighborhood, that were part of the neighborhood, were safe and secure. That time is gone, because most of these cops now don't live anywhere near the vicinity of where they work. So they don't give a shit about the people. They don't give a shit about the places. They don't give a shit about any situation that they create, because they get to go home. They get to get on the boat, the ferry, or go into a tunnel, or go over a bridge, and they're home. And they resign themselves from any situations that they caused all day until they check back in.
A lot of people don't know what it is to be family or be neighborhood, because they're so used to moving around the states or being by themselves and being independent that they don't understand those concepts really, and those rights for other people, that are a little bit more laid back and more comfortable with being where they are.
But you know what? One of the things that I learned growing up in New York City, and one of the things you learn on the streets being involved in nonsense, is the law is not justice. The law and justice are two different things. Now, the first thing a cop will tell you when he arrests you is, number one, I'm a cop. I'm not a judge. I'm not here
They're not there
to judge you. I'm here to arrest you.
But if they were running up on you as if you looked like you were a kind of strong-looking, intense attitude, hooligan-looking figure, they'd come up to you and rush you.
Of course.
Or, how about this? But who is them to judge and say that they should go up to that little old lady and say, hey, ma'am, how you doing? So that approach right there, their approach is on judgment.
Well, but this is the point. If you're taking somebody's judgment, now you take somebody's judgment of somebody that's from the neighborhood, that knows the people, know what's going on, know what happens on these streets at this time, and this time. That person's judgment, you could pretty much count on that person's judgment, because they are where you're from. They do what you do. They know what you know. So it ain't no secrets. But when these people bring their judgment and they have no idea of what's going on around them or anything, that doesn't work for me. Don't come from Secaucus to be a police officer in the Bronx or in Harlem and bring your Secaucus attitude. It doesn't work for New York. It does not work for New York because you get to go home at the end of the day. And you get to make pretend you didn't do anything. And if there's one thing I hate, it's a key holder. You could be a lot of things, but if you're a key holder, we have problems, me and you.
Explain. Key
holders is somebody that holds the key. And I mean that in a very literal sense. Somebody that holds a key. Now I know I've been arrested. I've been arrested. Come on, let's be honest. How many of us haven't spent a little bit of time in county? All right. What those cops are going to tell you is, oh, listen, I didn't do the crime. I just opened and closed the cell. But really, what you're saying to me is you hold all these people's freedom in your hand, and you're not going to release them. Why? Because of the job, and because of some sort of righteousness, whatever it may be. But for me, there's no excuse. I can never be a key holder. I can never be a key holder. To know that somebody's freedom is in my hands, and I deny them freedom, other than a murderer or a child rapist or any kind of rapist, to be specific.
Or terrorists.
You know what? Even terrorists, to be honest.
But you know what? I think terrorists, we can just hog time and toss them to the hood.
Because a terrorist ain't a terrorist till he does something.
The hood would love to tear up some terrorist asshole, motherfucker.
It's funny because I remember back in the day, I'm never going to join the army, but if they come over here, we go wild out. You ever say that? You ever say that
I
shit?
wish they bring that bomb
I wish
shit
they
to
bring
my
that
hood.
shit around here. Nigga, if they brought it around here, you was shitting your pants. Let's be honest. You ain't expecting that kind of drama. Not even in a little bit. Not even in a little bit. Anyway, I want to go back to my original point of I was talking about the police and stuff at that point. That one, they're gonna tell you I'm not a cop.
The police? Where'd you come up with the police?
The police, the coppers, the coppers. Do you know why they're called coppers?
Coppers.
Do you know why they're called coppers?
Yeah.
Why?
Long story.
Long story? Make a long story short. Coppers are called coppers because back in the day, their badges were made out of copper. Little facts for you. Anyway, the second thing a cop is going to tell you is, but a cop is going to tell you, a judge is going to tell you, a lot of people will tell you this. Ignorance of the law does not excuse you from breaking it. So in those terms, if you want to reverse it, ignorance of your surroundings does not excuse your actions and how you treat the people that you're supposedly trying to protect. Those are the people you're actually shitting on. And you don't care because they're your people. Excuse me, you don't care because they're not your people. You get to go home to your people.
They look at it like they're saving you from yourself.
And who the hell are you to save me?
From yourself.
From myself.
That's because technically they think they own everybody regardless.
Again, ignorance does not excuse the fact that...
They set laws. It's like saying if you try to commit suicide, they put you in the loony bin.
It's illegal to kill yourself. Yeah, it's illegal to kill yourself. Now, you can say that all you want, but the catch-22 to that one is there is something called suicide by police. It's suicide by
Explain
police.
that to me.
What that means is
I'm still trying to understand that one.
what that means is you specifically go out there and make such a fuss and a racket that they have no recourse except to put a bullet inside of you. And that was your plan, was to get shot down by the police. It's suicide by police. And it's a very well-known, very well-documented thing. So it's not just me talking shit, coming up with something new.
Like Columbine.
Like Columbine, you're an idiot.
I'm mad at all you guys. I'm going out and whacking everybody today.
But now...
Piss me off. Let a cop kill me.
But now we get into the situation, back to the beginning of smoking in the beaches and in the parks. There is going to come a time where somebody is having a bad day and they're smoking in a park and they're going to get approached by a cop that's not from around here, that has his sights on being a prick. And shit's going to pop off.
Yeah. hell yeah.
Somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's definitely going to get arrested. Someone's definitely going to go to jail.
That's an excuse
either
for them
one
to
or
make it
or.
seem like, you see, look,
No,
I
but
told
either
you
one or,
how
because even the
dangerous it is.
cop can go to jail or arrested once he's lost his composure, and it stands out. My point being is all of this from smoking. You really don't get the grasp of it until it's gone full circle all the way to the end, all the way to the worst case scenario. Stop giving me best case scenario. Stop telling me, oh, this law is for people that they don't like secondhand smoke. Get the fuck away from me then. Go over there. Why are you so goddamn close to me that you got my smoke in your face? Are you my girlfriend?
I could come stand next to you if I want.
No, you can't. You cannot invade somebody's personal space if you want to.
Oh,
because you could take that as a threatening gesture.
Okay.
And now that becomes a different thing.
So they're going to make it illegal for people to stand next to each other then in the future?
Not. Oh,
We'll make it so
let
you
me
guys
correct
can't
you.
be social.
Let me correct you on that.
Just like if you're a girl, you're a woman, I can't even say, hey, have a nice day. And then
You know
get
what's
offended
funny?
and say, "Here."
You know what's funny about
try
you
to hit on
saying
me.
that is that there are now new laws in the past like 5 years about getting harassed on the subway. No, if you're on the crowded train next to that pretty girl, get away from her, because all she has to do is say, you rubbed on her the wrong way and she felt a certain way about it. You're going to jail.
Isn't that a shame?
For standing next to this woman.
I
Your
can- I
whole
can
deal was to go to work.
I can understand
You
the
didn't even
safety
recognize this
issues
woman standing there.
and all of that, but also it becomes a
So,
problem.
yeah, in those situations, it is even illegal to stand next to each other. And the laws that they put into place, you got to wonder, is it for the future or is it something they're trying to prove now? And then you get into this whole
You gotta
thing
wonder
of,
whoever's even making the laws. Are you even a fucking human? Like, I can't stand next to a female or a guy or have conversations. Can't be social.
no,
can't do nothing.
not anymore.
That sounds like fucking aliens are creating laws.
No, oh, don't, please, let's not go
You can't
there.
even say
Let's
they're
not
fucking
go
homos,
there.
because homos would make it so they could still fuck each other.
And-
Excuse me.
But see, the thing is, Jesus, I don't know how we got into homos and aliens, and I'm talking about smoking in the park. Again,
Well,
you
because it comes
you
down
throw
to-
off my whole fucking thing
It
again.
comes down to them trying to control every single little thing.
Well, okay, that's what I was saying. It becomes a thing of, is this plans for the future or something that you're trying to do now? Now, a lot of people believe it's to stop you from smoking, it's to stop this, it's to stop that. My personal belief, you mark my words, in 20 to 25 years, it'll be too expensive for the average person to come across the bridges and tunnels into Manhattan. Which means is only the wealthy and their friends will be coming in and out of Manhattan. Which means is it'll be differently patrolled. They're going to start putting markers on all the bridges and tunnels, and they're literally going to take over Manhattan. And it sucks to say, and I sound cheesy even saying something like this, but it goes back to Snake Plissken, Escape from New York. How they cut off a whole area. All you got to do is block the bridges and tunnels. There's no walking. You know, we're surrounded by water. And this is going to be the playground for the rich. And everybody else can go eat it. And it sucks to have to say that,
But you know
but
what?
that's the reality.
But it can't be closed off that much because rich people ain't gonna work for rich people. It don't work
No,
like that.
what they're going to
So
do
who the
is
fuck are they gonna have working in these places for 'em?
these people are going to be living on the island under their roof. They're never going to
Everybody's
have to
gonna be
leave Manhattan.
Personal slaves.
You're either going to be working for the rich or you're going to are going to be the rich, but there's not going to be a middle ground. You're not going to come to Manhattan.
There's gonna be no travelers.
There's not going to be a whole lot of traveling at all, other than the rich. Other than people that are coming to spend money, it'll become a big playground because the wealth that comes in and out of New York on a daily basis, pre-World Trade Center, how many numbers do you think that would be?
Too many.
We have so much money coming in and out of here. Best way to have control of it is to have the people that have all that money here as well. You control the people, you control the money. Manhattan will become a police state. And then
It already has.
step out to Brooklyn, step out to Bronx. When you start to branch out from there, it's going to get ugly, because that's going to be the border between the rich and everybody else. And that's going to be the towns, the shanty towns.
Most of the people that are probably commuting anyway at awkward times of the day are probably government or police or something like that. Or
how much do you think the train fare is going to be in 2 years?
People commuting if there's that much stuff shut down at that time of the night? Wouldn't make any sense.
It's going to be soon $3 to get on the train. $3. Round trip $6. Not everybody can afford that. And then the amazing side of that is they tried to take away bus passes and train passes to the children of our city. We can't afford that unless you're rich. And the rich don't need your fucking pass. They're playing a serious game in New York. And keep an eye on it, people. Keep an eye on it. Look deeper. Everything. Look deeper than what they're trying to show you. Now, don't create stuff. That's the last thing you want to do. And if you do create stuff, keep it to yourself. You mold over it, come up with the facts, whatever. But keep an eye. Keep an eye on what they're doing to your city. If you're from New York, my people, real New Yorkers talking to real New Yorkers, don't let them do this to us. Don't let them change our city as much as they want to for their benefit. This is our city. We're the ones that we're the ones that are born and raised here, and now we can't even live here anymore. We can't afford to live here anymore. This is not what it was built to be. Now, as you can tell, I've been thinking about this all day. It's very upsetting how something as simple as smoking can get you off on a tangent about nonsense. But I had to get that off my chest, people, because it's been bothering me all day about the smoking in the park. And you know what? I'm getting my electronic cigarettes, and I'm going to smoke everywhere I feel like it. You ain't going to see nothing to me.
Everybody's going to be smoking electronic cigarettes.
The electronic cigarette is the wave of the future, my friends. I can't smoke. Bet. Watch me. You know how many times I smoked on the train and people give me dirty looks, but they can't really figure it out because they don't smell anything, because it's not real smoke? Man, I gig inside. I cry with laughter. When I'm the only one smoking, I go back to playing my video games, I lift up my head, and 5 people are now smoking their electronic cigarettes in the train, and we're all looking at each other like, yeah, this is good. I like this. Flash mob. We need to do light ups, an indoor electronic cigarette flash mob.
On a train.
We're going to make sure you get us connected with Twitter, because we're going to start doing that stuff. We're going to start doing flash mobs. Okay? I just want you to know out there, because I love dumb shit. I love being involved in dumb shit, and that's some of the dumbest shit that I think anybody can be involved in is a fucking flash mob. Love it. Love it. All right, people. Listen, I'm going to give everybody a break today. I'm just doing the one subject. I had to get it off my chest. It was a must. That's how much it's been bothering. And it's fucked up because I've had such a bad day that this is all I've been thinking about. I've been in a very negative space in my head, which is not good.
I know, because you can't smoke your fucking rollies all day nonstop walking around New York.
See, and again, I can. In New York, I just don't stop in a park.
3 blocks back, buddy. You're supposed to put that out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, then now where's the boundaries? Is it the block? Is it the street? So we get into this whole
because they
area.
They have to spend money now to put up these signs. So
I'm telling you,
they're
it's ridiculous.
spending money to put these signs
up. It doesn't.
You know they're gonna try to get you.
It's fucking nonsense,
They're gonna get you a ticket, buddy.
They're gonna get the money. And the worst part about it is, as you watch these reports, they said that the money is not even going to equal out to what we're going to spend to do this. So that doesn't even make sense.
You know what? That also just gives them a reason to stop like 1 million people on Friday, Saturday night.
That's all it is. It's a reason to harass people
Central,
and get
Times Square.
Their quality of people here
anywhere,
and our quality of people out.
On 4th of July, oh my God. What are you going to do? No fireworks, no cigarettes with your beer? Oh, please.
You'll be standing there. You'll be standing there with a sparkler. That's it. Just standing there with a sparkler and a sad look on your face. Yay! Happy 4th.
You couldn't even wave your flag anymore. Yay! All my rights are out the window.
Yay! You can't. Shh! Don't say that too loud. Shh! You can't even say that. Yay!
They got marksmen.
Yay!
On the dunes.
Holy shit. Listen, people.
Government conspiracy.
This has been SB in the City. I'm your host, the Big Soul. With me as always, Chris Busy B. Say goodbye, B.
A.
That's wonderful.
Bye.
Bye.
Adios.
You can always catch us. THUGOVT, THUGOVT, one word, at Gmail, YouTube, MySpace, you name it. I can't even go over all the names that we're in. Still waiting on word from the iPad people, the iPod people, so that's right around the corner. And anybody that wants to send in any music, any cartoons, anything, I'd love to see them, and we'll probably use them. Big probably on that.
You got just a, you know what your grade was right now? You just got a big L for lazy.
I did, yeah, I did, because I'm not having a great day. I did. I got the lazy L, okay, and then we'll even do it lazier. Chris Busy B, HRR.THUGOVT, THUGOVT, one word, at Gmail, yada 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 yada. How was that for laziness? Yada. All right, people. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you real soon.
Sayonara.
Bye.
One.